Hello and welcome once again to the Barbarian Breakdown. After an interesting week one, some potential upsets, some would say, some would maybe not say so much. The table stands very interestingly with Rated R sitting in first place, Exis in second, Zenex in third, Volta in fourth, Class 1A in fifth. Low field view, best field view, now known as 4 Point, we'll get to that shortly. Y sitting in the 6th place and TSMC sitting in 7th. They will stay 7th, and Foreigners Unite have opted again to not play this week, so they have been disqualified from the league, so they just sit bottom. But we'll get into that stuff. We'll get there. We've got things to talk about first. Let's first of all address once again, as you can probably expect, roster mania. Roster changes left, right and centre. Low field of view, best field of view. Let's start with them first. They switched out Tricky Gotcha and Red Velvet for Jay Sugar and Toomey. They changed the name from low field of view, best field of view to 4 Point. Toomey can play with 4 Point this week because TSMC, as we say, is not playing this week. So because I believe Statics is making a new roster, getting that together, ready for the league finals. So Toomey is joining, maybe temporarily, maybe for the future, 4 Point, and he's playing with them. So TSMC will receive obviously 2-0 losses this week and pretty much cement themselves in 7th. They will, however, still be in the finals. So Team Zenex, we know, Breaker, Sarkster, they've been trying people, mix and match and seeing what they can sort of get. And we've got this week the roster change, or the roster they're going with, is Warrior Guns. He will be the 4th, so it's a returning hen back to the flock, so to speak, with Warrior. Obviously, he's had a lot of experience with Breaker and Sarkster, so it should make it interesting coming into week 2. Foreigners Unite, as previously mentioned, is out of the league for not having played week 1 or week 2 due to personal reasons, not of interest in the game. Insert plain, boring excuse for why they're not playing. And that's where hopefully we will still see them in the LCQ though. But to keep the bracket going and to keep it as sort of swift and efficient as possible, Highly Rated will be taking the 8th place in the finals. So they won't be playing the LCQ. So that's a big opportunity, because if you're unlucky and you get like Highly Rated in the first round, you're probably going out. We all know like Highly Rated was going to win the LCQ. Or we'd like thought so. So it will give another team a chance. It will give another team a chance to get into the league finals and play for the big money. Looking at the table after week 1, we have the number 1 seed coming into the league, Rated R, at the top. They went 3-0 since they got 10 rounds in Foreigners Unite not playing. Rated R, very close and exciting game with Zenex, but they managed to win 2-1, making that the only 3-map game we had during the entire day. The rest were 2-0 victories. The other team Rated R beat was TSMC 5-0. 5-0. A close second in the table, we see Exis Esport, who actually had to work for all of their wins. When we say that, we mean that they actually had to play their games, unlike Rated R, who managed to get the win. But I believe Exis get their free win this week, so that should sort of balance that up. The team seemed pretty much on autopilot though. I mean, when they came up against low field view, best field of view, now known as 4 Point, with a swift 5-2. Oh well, 5-4, so we have a sort of close one. And then again 5-4, 5-1 against Class A. So they had to work for it. It wasn't thinking but they came out on top 2-0, 2-0. And then played TSMC and won 10-0. So it was a bit sort of to be expected. Zenex, they lost 1. They got 1 free win and they beat Volta 5-3, 5-1. Let's see if the recruiting of Warrior will make a difference in week 2 for that team. Will they get the wins? Will they close them out? Who knows? We'll have to see. I can't wait personally. Volta, they got a free win, but did once and for all, as far as I'm concerned, determine who the best mouse and keyboard team is. And they were playing, when they were playing Toby Campbell and Co. with low field of view, best field of view, they came out on top. Toby though has switched out the majority of his mouse and keyboard players now, and the team name change, maybe that's so I stop pointing out the mouse and keyboard team and then he's not the top mouse and keyboard team anymore, but we'll have to see. So now it is just 1 mouse and keyboard player on that team, and the rest are on controller. I know that Toby personally was less than pleased with their performance and the 6th place on the table after week 1. His new team, will definitely want to come back with a vengeance in week 2, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with that roster with the introduction of Sugar and Toomey. Class 1A won against TSMC 5-4-5-1 and won against what is now 4.5154, giving them 5th place on the table with a positive round difference. And what a absolute performance they have put on. I definitely think Class 1A is one to watch out for in the league finals. Looking at the matches we have in week 2, we are of course very intrigued to see Team ZenX versus Class 1A first on the side stream of the day. Both on 2 wins, 2 losses. They're going to want to make a statement in the first game, get opened up, get warmed up. I mean, you don't want to start with a loss and potentially a really crucial loss when it comes to the final standings. Denial has been kind enough to handle the side stream for me, so I'll be showing Rated R versus Volta first, and he'll be showing ZenX in Class 1A. As always, you can go over to btbarena.com, click on the league, and you'll be able to find all the information, who's getting streamed, what, where, and when on there. Unfortunately, there's going to be some waitings for teams with Foreigners Unite not playing and TSMC not playing this week. But hey, at least we get to see some top class gears, but not only 1, but 2 streams. What more could you want? The second match that will be on the main stream, we will have 4 Point versus Zenix. Side stream will be showcasing Rated R versus XS, which is an interesting game and potentially for first place. So that is it's a stacked day of gears. What more can I possibly say? Third on stream will be Exis versus Volta. Notorious going against his old duo partner, who he did actually win the Barbarian Battle Week 12 with, Pains. And Hydrome will go up against his old teammate, Crimson, with his new roster on the side of Volta. So it's a very interesting day and some stories will be told. Side stream will host 1A versus Rated R. That is game 3. The last game of the day on stream was going to be the bottom 2 teams, or the current bottom 2 teams, TSMC and Foreigners Unite, going to give them a chance to battle out for the last place, but now it is going to instead be Volta versus 1A. So 1A will sing us out, or hopefully coming through both the end of week 1 and now the end of week 2. On the side stream will be 4 Point versus Rated R. That is a potential ouchie for 4 Point, but we'll have to see. Rated R, obviously no roster changes, a lot of time now that team's getting stronger, they're in form, they look brilliant. Ricardo is an amazing player. Vision makes up a nice duo. Rowdy's hitting shots, playing well with the drop shot. It's going to be an interesting one in the battle for first place. We'll have to see. We'll have to see who finishes where when the chips fall and land where they may. Once again, we did ask a couple of the teams with roster changes and stuff. It was awkward sort of who to ask what, but we did manage to get hold of a few of the members of the team or representatives from the teams and ask them some questions. So once again, we spoke to Rowdy from Rated R, and we asked him, after week 1, you sit on top of the league. Do you think you'll still be there after week 2's games? I'd said tomorrow's games, but week 2's games. He said, I have a feeling we might be able to indeed still sit on the top. It will be hard fight, but it's 100% possible, and that's the spirit to have. Good, positive attitude, positive lookout, knows that it's going to be a fight, but it's hard to doubt them at this point. It's very hard to doubt them. Jimmy B from Class 1A. We spoke to Brazil last week. I don't know how many of you have been on btbarena.com and had a look at the essay was up, but we summarised it. After Brazil built you up in wonderful fashion last week, you delivered wonderfully. How are you and the team feeling going into week 2, especially knowing a top 4 spot in the league is well within your reach? And Jimmy gave us a nice simple reply. Another positive outlook. We feel like every game we have tomorrow, week 2, is winnable. We just have to play well on the day. Our roster has the players it needs to beat anyone. We just need the time now. Not a word of praise back to Brazil. Ouch. That sounds like a very one-sided relationship, but you know, there's got to be a giver and there's got to be a taker, as they say. Breaker from Team ZX, who came through and asked him, after seeing 1A defeat Low Field View, obviously now 4 Point last week, and almost take a map off Exis, how do you feel about going up against them in your first game this week, especially with Para leaving you to complete what seems to be the best 1A squad we've ever seen? Breaker, he said, they're a decent team. We won't be underestimating anyone we play against, and they've done well that week. Para was definitely an upgrade for that team, and they have improved since he's joined. But I still think if both teams are at the best, we come out on top. So we've just got to make sure we turn up and play how we know we can play, and we will come out with the win. With some hiccups, we are still going forward with the league. Roster changes, schedule, and people dropping out. We are just trying to keep it going and keep it going as best as we can. I'm very, very much looking forward to week 2 and all of the games that will be showcased along with the players and teams. We have the league LCQ coming up as well next Saturday on the 24th of April. That is open to any team in the EU region that isn't in the league already. And of course, the league final will be the 25th on the following, like on the day after the LCQ on the Sunday. So I've tried to make the league finals sort of like a bit like a major. We've got an open bracket on the Saturday, the LCQ, and then we've got the league finals on the Sunday. So we should be in for a fun weekend of gears and some potentially high tier action and some a potential team coming through from the LCQ, as I say, with highly rated being given the 8th seed spot. We have changed the start times, guys, both for week 2 and the league, for the league finals. Sorry, we've changed the start times for both of them to 1 p.m. UK time instead of 3 p.m. So to help with people's time and make sure we've got, and obviously this week we have an extra game on stream. We have 4 instead of 3, and the league finals is going to be double elimination and whatnot. There's only 12 teams, but it still could be a lengthy day, so we're starting at 1 p.m. instead of 3 p.m. so do make sure to join us. So I will see you in the stream, and the most important thing of all, guys, as we always know, keep it classy.